Hello friends, welcome. Hello Paint Liquor. What's happening? Before we get into the Oblivion Mosquito, which we will be painting today, I'm just putting together these cool little guys ready for painting soon. And I made a little change. The guy that runs carrying the One Ring, it's Bilbo Baggins. Hello Time Stop. Yeah, it's a cool little piece. Cool little piece. Shouldn't take me too long to finish, but we'll see. I tried to make this. Ring out of copper. Piece of wire. Looks okay. So, Wheel of Time, friends. 3 episodes released for season 3. Glorious stuff. Glorious stuff. If you're a Wheel of Time fan, one of the all-time moments in the books occurs in episode 3. All-time movements. This is just super glue, just cheap super glue, and this stuff is a accelerant that speeds up the drying significantly, and that is what I use. Right. The key component is this accelerant stuff. It actually strengthens the bond. So yeah. Hey, the boys. The boys are back in town. The boys. Hello, Sean. It's going well, mate. I left this wood here because I think I'm gonna. Hello, Match Fixer. I think I'm gonna get a stain, a wood varnish, and stain it because I think that'll look nice. The other option is to just paint it black, but alright, that is ready. We'll do some gut filling on that later on. I was thinking about putting this owl on it. This is an owl from the Brisbane Display Painters Guild. One of the guys there sculpted it. Thinking about adding another owl up the back here. What do we think of that? Do we like that? It's almost criminal behaviour to talk about converting a Lucas penis sculpt. But I'll consider that. I'll consider it. Do painters have a different process in building and preparing resin minis? Absolutely. But the core of it's very similar. Resin minis, you glue them together. You almost certainly want to use a cyanoacrylate glue, which is super glue. Cyanoacrylate, I think, is the correct name of it. But gap filling component, the filling of the seams, everyone does a little differently. I use PVA glue to fill mine. There is an owl. There's a little owl down here. Look, there he is. Hello. Yeah, I use PVA glue, but sometimes I also use putty. You know, this is the Nightmare Ram. Let's fix that a bit. This is the Nightmare Ram, and I've used putty here, but then I've also used PVA glue through these seams as well, to fill the gaps. So it's ready to roll. Let's grab this big bopper. G'day, X-Tab. And this is just baking paper that is significantly cheaper than any other paper you can get. And works, in my opinion, just as good, if not better. PVA does shrink a little bit on drying, which we actually use to our advantage mostly. But it does fill gaps really well in most of the time. If you have a flat line, like if you have a seam where two things join and there's a line down the middle, it won't fill that very well. But if you have two pieces that are like connected like this, where there's a gap there, it fills that perfectly. So, for example, on this, there is actually a line around here where this face joins on, and I used putty to fill that. However, all the gaps that were up here in these bits, I used PVA to fill those. So. PVA would make up 90% of my gap filling, if not more. Alright. Let's Marvin Gaye and get it on. I have tried filling gaps with UV resin, yeah. I've not actually had an awful lot of success with UV resin, if I'm honest. Normal resin, fine, or the normal resin that cures over time. UV resin, I used some of the Green Stuff World UV resin, and I just had a number of problems with it not fully curing, and even though I had it out in sunlight for a long time, and then other stuff, it just didn't work for me. So I've sort of moved away from using UV resin. I may have got a bad batch, or I may just be really, really bad at shining a light on things. Not sure. Thanks, Match Fixer. 25-month streak, that's over 2 years. That is criminal behaviour. Sure, there's better things you could spend your $8 on. This will hopefully make sense in about 3 minutes when I finish what I'm doing. No, not going to PAX. Benny and Bunny are going to PAX, but I am not. I'm going to be going to the ARC open down in Melbourne, probably likely in May. Definitely going to Guilds Inn. But yeah, I really should go to more like board game conventions, because I'm equally as invested in board games as I am in painting toy soldiers, and at times those two things ebb and flow, and one is more exciting than the other for me. And it's fair to say that it's been a lot of board games recently. Elder Scrolls, glorious. Kingdom Death, glorious. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a PAX. I went to one Comic Con. Hello, Cragzog. Any tabletop war games tempted me recently? The short answer is no, but I need to go check something. Hang on. I need to go check something. In terms of whether I can actually talk about something. No, I can't talk about anything, but yes, some exciting board games and miniature painting games coming. Everyone's been talking about that that little game that Bucks was getting pumped about recently. Set in like the, I don't know what it was. I'm sure Cragzog will tell me the name, but Trench Crusade, was it? Trench Crusade, maybe? Everyone was frothing about Trench Crusade. But yeah, not for me at this point in time. I'd really love to get back into a miniature game. Like most people that frequent this chat would not have known me back in the days when I was a miniature gaming fiend. You know, I was all in on War Machine, absolutely all in. I played 3 times a week, and when I wasn't playing, I was painting. I travelled to pretty much every tournament that they had across the country for War Machine. Competed internationally. You know, it was a huge part of my life. And tournaments, there'd be a tournament on every month, sometimes 2 a month. You'd have two days dedicated on your weekend to playing this tournament. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. But then I started playing board games. I also sort of moved away from War Machine and moved into some other games, Guild Ball, etc. And what happened was I started playing board games with my friend Luke, who was also a War Machine player, and some other guys, Darren, and we did it every Tuesday night. And we just ticked over 10 years the other day of doing that, and it's just like a revelation for me. I'm sure I'm not surprising anyone when I say that I've really gotten into board games, but they're just so accessible. You know, I used to spend hours and hours researching War Machine units and strategies and tactics, and that was part of the fun. That was part of the thing that was great about it. But having played lots of cool board games now, we sit down on a Tuesday and we start reading the rules on a Tuesday, me usually, and we learn how to play the game, and then we play the game and we talk about it during the week, and then we get on to another one the next week, and it's just super accessible. Sometimes we get great ones that we're like, yeah, let's play that again. Other times they're just all okay. But it's just such an easy hobby, you know. You don't have to do anything. You just get to play. So I really like board gaming, and it's taken over the part of my brain that liked War Machine for its strategy and tactical components. I don't need to think about it anymore because board gaming's taken it over. But having said that, I got into Marvel Crisis Protocol a few years ago, and it was really fun. I played, again, a lot of tournaments. The thing that appealed to me about those tournaments was they only went for one day. And in some cases, they'd only go for 3 rounds, which meant you could be finished by lunchtime. I have played D&D. I've played some great D&D campaigns. Yeah, some great D&D campaigns. Once again with Koki, we played one a few years ago during COVID. We did it all online, which was fun. He's a good man, Koki. One of my best friends. Would run through walls for him. Yeah, the MCP minis were good fun to paint. I did 110 of them in the space of about 3 months, and it was really good fun. I really enjoyed the game. I spent a lot of time learning the game, and I'll tell you the other problem that I have now with miniature games, and this will come across as a massive brag, and that's okay, because that is who I am. But we basically got to a point with MCP here where it just wasn't really a challenge for me. I would just beat everyone. Except for one guy, Morgan, who was probably the #1 player in the country and probably close to the #1 player in the world. Because he was the #1 Star Wars X-Wing player in the world for a number of years before he moved over to War Machine, to MCP. And he was the guy I used to play against. But I'm going to say some other, probably controversial and unfair shit right now. But, so I play games with my friends every Tuesday night, as I've said, and we have an amazing time. We have a lot of fun. We say a lot of hilarious things, inappropriate things, and we've been doing it for a long time. And we just know each other in the way that we play, and we know how to, get under the other person's skin or whatever. And there's a real difference when you sit down at a table with someone that you don't know to play a game, because there's a lot of stuff that's like a social contract that you should really talk about before you play a miniature game that a lot of people don't talk about, and I try to talk about stuff. But sometimes, you'll say something like, hey mate, I don't want to have any takebacks, we'll just play the game, and if you make a mistake, well, it's okay, we make a mistake and we move on. And then 2 minutes in the game, the guy will be like, oh, I messed that up. Is it alright if I just, redo that? And you're like, sure, man. No worries. Because then, if you don't say yes, then you're the bad guy. And so there's this whole social element with, and let's be fair, most Little Toy Soldier players and painters socially not the greatest. My missus is probably going to laugh in the background because I'm just such a wonderful social, skillful person at navigating human emotions. I know, Moss. But that's one of the challenges. It's like, do I sign up to play some games with people I don't know, where there's going to be some awkwardness and some weirdness, and it's going to be a bit uncomfortable, and they're going to be, again, egotistical and arrogant of me. They're going to not really have a chance to win the game, but we've got to go through the motions and pretend that they do. Or do I just play with my mates? Do I just play with Kohi and Freezy and Wedgie and Tobes and have a fun time? Where we don't have to hold back and we can just be absolute animals and try and destroy each other and not feel bad about that. It's an interesting conundrum. So yeah, MCP was good. Long-winded way of saying MCP was good by me. But yeah, I found myself gravitating towards just playing games with my friends rather than going to a tournament, and that was what ended up making me move on into back into board games and back into painting toy soldiers, really. Yeah, there was I was in a podcast for War Machine called Oz Machine. Great podcast, very popular in its heyday. And during our podcast reign, we had a pretty huge cheating scandal rock the War Machine world at one of the World Team Championships. And it was a huge deal. Like, it was a filmed game, and the dude was filmed, and it appeared. I'll talk about my perspective on it in a second. But it appeared that he actively moved a figure with his finger while the other player wasn't looking, and this was recorded. And it turned into a veritable shitstorm on the internet, as it always does. And it forced War Machine event organisers to have sections about what they would do in a video, in a recorded game situation, rulings and stuff like that. And we talked about it on the podcast Oz Machine, and I would love to go back and listen to it, because I think we were one of the only voices at the time. There was a lot of people, as you said, witch hunting, guy should be banned from the game forever type of thing. I feel like we were one of the only voices that were dissenting in the perspective of, well, there was a level of uncertainty as to what had actually happened. It wasn't necessarily an unequivocal cheating. And so we were like, let's just be accepting that people make mistakes. Everyone else was like, get the guy out of the game forever. But it did change the way that War Machine players played the game. And I played a bit of AOS for a while there after War Machine, after Guild Ball. I moved in and played some AOS, again mostly as a painting exercise, which was really fun. painted some iron jaws. That's probably on camera too, actually. I think so, anyway. That's one of the funniest memories of my life. I'd been out of the wargaming circles for a while, and AOS had just gotten really big. There was a tournament up here in Brisbane, which was like 100 players. It was awesome, and I'd been just at home painting my little iron jaws and having a fun time and playing some AOS games with Darren, and we went to this tournament, and absolutely no one knew who I was. And so I'm just like sitting down to play people. I'm like, hello, let's play some toys, let's have some fun. And everyone's like, cool, man. And so it was a 6-round tournament, and I was undefeated after 5 rounds going to the final round. And I was standing around at a table with one of my mates, Simon, and Simon had been playing AOS for a little while, and so he was talking to someone who was really heavily in the scene, and he was like, this person who was heavily in the scene, like, who the fuck is this Iron Jaws guy? Like, I've never heard of him, and he's undefeated. Like, what is going on? And just absolutely having a fat rant without realising that it was me, and I was just sitting there looking around like this, and Simon was cracking up. And they're like, this guy's just come out of nowhere. And Simon, of course, had been around in the Warhammer days for a long time. He's like, it's not really from nowhere, mate. And I was just laughing, having a very good time. Anyway, I fell out of love with the game in that final round because I had a situation where I rolled all my dice and had a wonderful roll where nothing went my way, and had slightly below average gone my way, I would have won the game and probably won the tournament. It didn't go my way, but then the roll off for the next turn, I also lost, even though I should have been winning. And so the fact that the game could go one way or another completely on the whim of a dice roll, thanks to a turn, was a real challenge for me. So anyway, yep, that's hard for me to stomach. Especially coming from War Machine and Guild Ball and everything, where everything's quite meticulous. And hey, sure, you can have 2 turns in a row, mate. Sebastian. Hey, Jared. Sebastian, we need to talk about Wheel of Time, mate. You've watched all 3 episodes? No spoilers, but have you watched all 3 episodes? Whew, some good stuff. The first 15 minutes was a very, very strong start to a season. I will concur with you on that tremendously. No, I think that's fair. You haven't met Grendale yet. I can't wait to see Grendale's casting. She's supposed to be also like Lanfear. But yeah, the first 15 minutes was epic. Cool. So yeah, nice times in my life with miniature wargaming, and I'd love to find the spark back. You know, I'd love to be able to go, I can't wait to get up and spend a weekend playing a war game all weekend and have a great time. First of all, I don't think my missus would appreciate that very much. She already feels like she doesn't get enough time with me. don't you, Mossy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the thing that used to appeal to me back in the day, used to appeal to my autism certainly, was the just amount of knowledge that you could absorb about a game, about a thing. You know, you could spend hours just reading codexes or army books, or for War Machine, the new release books. You could learn all about the rules and spend ages diving in and understanding the intricacies, and then planning out how you could utilize those with your existing armies or whatever else. It was just a great time. That was a huge part of it for me in the latest stuff. You know, playing in the World Team Championships, playing for Australia in the Iron Gauntlet, playing in the Open, the ETC, which was basically the World Team Championships for Warhammer, was the progenitor of that. That's amazing stuff. And if you go back to my YouTube channel, and the very first things that you can see on my YouTube channel is my trip overseas with my friends to play in the Warhammer Team Championships in Munster in Germany. I did interviews with them. Yeah, great stuff. That was a great feeling. You know, there's not many people that get to say that they represented their country in stuff. I would love to know what percentage that is. I'm sure there's a high percentage comparatively in what?
You're an Olympian.
Mossy reckons I'm an Olympian. No, but yeah, I you know, it'd be 5% or whatever. It's cool to be able to say that you are a representative of your country. It's even cooler to say that you captained your country, even if that thing is in toy soldiers. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for, forever proud of, and you know, look back on with extreme fondness. I would look back on it a lot better if we won. Which we did not. And that was devastating. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it, but yeah, we were on the final table. We were red hot favourites to win, and we had 3 games where we lost on 90+% chances. You know, we had one where a dude went for an assassination. It was a 97% chance. He failed. So that's a 3% for that to happen. We had another one who was 91% assassination. He failed. So that's, you know, the 2 of those combined to happen, the likelihood of that is very, very small. But then to have a third one, and we lost in the final 3-2. Yeah. So that was it, and that crushed us. Crushed me. Don't think I ever fully recovered. Yes, I've also watched all 3 episodes. I know what's coming in most cases. So I know, obviously, the story, but seeing some of those moments on screen is just amazing. I nearly cried last night with one of my favourite moments in the books. Mossy was asleep. She also hates the show, so it doesn't matter. But the scene where Matt takes the quarterstaff and fights the dudes. In the book series, that is one of my favourite moments in the whole book series. And it was so glorious to see it on screen. So glorious. That's good. That's good. Yeah, the show, it's a huge departure, right? It's a huge departure from the books. And if you've read the books, which you know, obviously I have the books tattooed on my chest. Yeah, it's different. It's very different, and that's something you've either got to be on board with or not. And if you're not, I respect that. It's really good. I think. I think it's a interpretation of the books that, like, if you had to have a choice between having no version of the show made or a version that is close but feels like the books, you know, some people would choose to have no version. Some people would choose to have any version that was close. It's good enough for me. Hello, Jimmy. But I've read the books, I don't know, 7 times, maybe more. Like, every time a new book came out, I would read it. I started reading the book series when I was in grade 3. My girlfriend and I were talking about it this morning. Grade 3, I started that book series. And the 5th book had just come out. Kinfight Chronicles was great, mate. Yeah, really good little game. I'll talk about it in a second. I'll just finish talking about Wheel of Time, but yeah, I'll talk about that for you in a sec. It's really cool. Yeah, Wheel of Time, I started reading it in grade 3. Book 6 just came out, and every year for the next few years a new book came out. I basically reread the series back then, and then the book slowed down. Yeah, great perspective, Red Mage. Book 9 came out, and I was absolutely blown away by book 9, specifically the last chapter. But yeah, it's a really nice feeling to be able to watch some of those things that have only ever played out in my mind appear on screen. And that is exactly right. They had to recast. What, I can't remember what it was. I think the dude got in trouble, or I can't remember. I can't remember what happened. But yeah, they had to recast him. I really like the new Matt, but I thought the old Matt was maybe fractionally better. Man, I don't want to talk about the books because I don't want to spoil anything for Sebastian or any other people who are watching the show without having read the books. But knowing what comes for most of those characters across the journey of their character arcs, you know, you can see the seeds being laid now, and it's so good. It's so good. Some of the seeds for those characters, some of their arcs, really good. Yeah, Jared, work's going okay, mate. It's certainly a lot busier than what I used to be doing. So that's a change. I wasn't doing a lot before, so yeah, big change. Good change though. Yeah, feel really positive about work and about what I'm contributing, which is cool. Mossy and I are currently out there looking for a house, which is a lot of work. So that's also taking up time, and yeah, I've been quite a lot playing board games, and yeah, in Brisbane, yep, playing a lot of board games, and you know the drill. So yeah, it's just been really busy. I felt like the last few months have just disappeared for me. Oh, mate, I was actually thinking of doing exactly the same thing. I've got a trip to Townsville start tomorrow, for 3 days. So I was like, I might just re-download those episodes. I'll watch them on the plane. They were really good. I'm so excited for it. Yeah, the year's just absolutely disintegrating. It feels like it's going so fast. So yeah. But yeah, the days, the weeks, the months, and even the years, they certainly get faster as you get older. It was my birthday last week. Turned 42. My dad laughed at me. He said it was very funny. I said, "Fuck you, Dad. You're nearly 70. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on Arc. Mossy and I were talking about it this week. I'd really love to go. You know, great event, etc. But it's, you know, if we find a house, it's going to fall very closely to the time when we're moving in. Thanks, Jimmy. You know, financially, it's a big investment. Blah 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 blah. So it's not a no right now, but it's not a yes right now either. It's just a let's wait and see what's happening in a month or two. Basically a month, because that's when we'll have to make the decision. But Guild's Inn's a little bit easier, shorter trip, cheaper flights, and obviously I've committed to teach there, so. Jimmy, Kinfire Chronicles, mate. Really cool game. So I've been waiting for Elder Scrolls to arrive for a long time, and the last few months has felt really challenging. Waiting for it. As pathetic as that sounds. And so I was really struggling. So I bought some games to keep me posted. And yeah, I need to go look up. Which character are you talking about from the Expanse? Was in Wheel of Time. I might have missed something. Yeah, so Jimmy, I bought. Oh, Christian. Oh, of course. Elida. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible casting. She's an incredible character. Yeah, so I bought a lot of games to sort of keep me going while I waited for Elder Scrolls. And Kinfire Chronicles was one. I didn't know anything about it, and I read a review, and the review was really pretty good. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have a crack at that. So I bought it. It was at Gameology. It was pretty cheap. I normally buy all of the little, extras and stuff. They actually had an extras pack at Gameology as well, but I decided not to, and that was the right choice, by the way. I would not recommend that. Not because it's bad, but because I don't think you need it. And I played through the first 9 chapters of the story, and then Elder Scrolls turned up. Else I would have finished it, and I probably will go back and finish it. I really like it. It's really good. I played by myself. If you had a group, I think it would be even better. I wouldn't play with more than one other person, probably. It's got one thing that would make that experience really frustrating at times. So the mechanic that determines initiative is a bag. You draw chits out of a bag, and if you're playing with 2 characters, you have 6 of each of your chits in a bag. If you're playing with 3, you have 4 of each of your chits, and if you're playing with 4, you have 3 of each of your chits. And then you have enemy chits in there. And so you basically have a possibility that you might not get your chit drawn out of the bag the entire scenario. So you might be playing your character and you might get to do absolutely nothing. And that is an actual thing that happens to me. However, I was playing solo, so I don't care because I'm playing the other guys as well. But if you were playing with your mates and you're sitting down at a table and you're like, yeah, look at my cool guy, look at all my cool cards, I can't wait to do cool shit, and then your chit never gets drawn, I'd probably be like, a scoop! So that's the downside of the game. It does a really great job of like having a fun little story component followed by a fun little battle. It's just a nice little amount of each of those things. You play through a little session. I think I did 9 sessions. They're all on YouTube if you want to watch a few. They go for like an hour. And it's just good. It's just a good little game. But I'll call out in particular, the production quality is exceptional. And they did a really great job of creating an experience. So every scenario is locked inside a box. And so when you want to open the scenario, or when you get to that scenario, open the box and you reveal, the scenario specific stuff and the monster cards and all that sort of stuff. It's a really exciting experience. I played Gloomhaven with 2 mostly, and it was great. I just don't think campaign games suit themselves to 4 players. I think most campaign games are mostly better at 2 or 3. Speaking of Dungeon Friends, look at that. Ready to go. Just need to fill some caps. I changed this little guy to be, instead of carrying dice, he's carrying the 1 ring. It's 1 ring to rule them all. Yeah, tiny conversion on a Spira. Tiny, that one doesn't really count. But then I was going to put an owl there as well. I was going to do an owl. Yeah, it feels like this is Gandalf, Legolas, What was that? Bjorn the bear guy from The Hobbit. And this could be Thorin Oakenshield, and this is Bilbo. That's who it could be. So, but I haven't decided if that's what I'm gonna do. Do I add this cool owl? It does feel not terrible. But I also don't think it's necessary. I just want to use this owl in a project because it's a cool little sculpt. Brisbane guy did that. Gauntlet Legends. Man, I played the shit out of that. What a great game. Absolute banger. I got that on my PlayStation. I played that at the arcade. If anyone's interested, I'm not sure if I've ever told this story, but there used to be a shop down near my house. I think I have. There used to be a shop near my house called Dragon's Keep. It was at a place near my house. And when I was a young fella, that used to be the place I'd go. I was obsessed with it. It was wonderful. Dragon's Keep. And so I went there multiple times. And they had a little arcade game there, which was called Dungeons and Dragons. And they also had another one called Gauntlet Legends. And so I was there most weekends, afternoons that I could be, playing those games. And the very first time I played the Dungeons and Dragons arcade game, I picked the wizard and I cast Fireball. But anyway, I was choosing my character and I picked it and I clicked the button too many times and it said, because you had to type in your name. And so I just accidentally clicked forward and it picked a name for me. It randomly generated a name. And the name that it randomly generated was SIOUS. And so that is how I got my online handle, which I used for many, many years on wargaming.au forums and all sorts of other places. And you can still see it somewhere. I still use it to this day. SIOUS. That was my character that I played in D&D for the first time. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these green tubes, mate. I think I'm just going to do them skin coloured and then add some other stuff. We're making some headway on this piece. It's going well. Yeah. SIOUS. She was 69. I added the 69 because I was a teenage boy. But, yeah, there you go. Anyway, Gauntlet Legends was there as well, and I played the fucking shit out of it. And then it came out on the PlayStation. I bought it, finished it. One of the few games I think I've ever finished Gauntlet Legends. I was trying to figure this out the other day because my friends tease me all the time about computer games because I don't play computer games and they all play computer games a lot more than I do. And one of the games that I finished is Baldur's Gate 2 Dark Alliance. I finished some Super Mario Brothers. I finished Super Mario World and Super Mario Wii on the Wii. Baldur's Gate, Secret of Mana I finished a few times on the Super Nintendo. What else did I finish? Illusion of Time on the Super Nintendo. Dark Alliance was awesome, yeah. I used to play the little dwarf. Warcraft 3, I finished Warcraft 3. I think that's the only PC game I've finished. Really? Golden Axe, yes, that was a fun one on the Sega Master System. I never played that because I was a Nintendo kid. I never played much of it. I played it at a friend's house when I went to his house and he had a Sega Master System. And I loved it. But I never got to play much of it. There was another shop near me that had a Knights of the Round Table style, or Knights of the Round Table Golden Axe style game. I can't remember what it was called. But you could play as Arthur, Percival, and Lancelot. I don't remember what the name of that game was, but Knights of the Round, maybe? Maybe that's what it was called. Yeah, only feet's going well, mate. Keep trying to get Mossy into it. Let's get her feet on there. Was it called Knights of the Round? Yeah. That was another one I played a lot on the arcades. That was good. It was a good game. I liked it. Alrighty, so let's start doing some stuff now. Maybe we need to airbrush some stuff actually. Yeah, Knights of the Round. That was fun. I don't think I ever finished it. I was too bad at games back then. We're Knights of the Round Table, we dance whenever we're able. I want to push the pram a lot. Yes, they are part of the creature. It's got fingers coming up out of its body and then hands up here. It's a totally normal figure. I want to push the pram a lot. As is very often the case with me, I've not really thought about the final result. I've just painted little bits and done things. And this is all looking okay at the moment. I'll do some airbrushing in a second too. Yeah, no, I think it's not on ice. I think so. My plan was I was going to finish this girl, and then I'm going to do Dungeon Friends, and then I'm back into it. I reckon we're back into it. I'm feeling the vibes. I just want to do Dungeon Friends first, so I can, you know, just get my head back in the game a bit. But painting this has been really good. This has been a nice experience. Like, I've actually done work on this off stream, which is usually the indication that things are going well, that I'm back in a headspace of let's do some painting, when I'm in my time thinking, yeah, I'm going to do some painting today. So yeah, I mean, I put together Dungeon Friends. I did some painting on this. Yeah, so we're pretty close to getting the diorama back in swing, which is exciting, a nice feeling. Hasn't happened yet though, so let's not get too excited, Deno. Yeah, just a little baby one, just to dip my toes back in, something small and achievable. Sure is, Toppy. Here it is, mate. Ready to go. Nice. I haven't seen too many versions of that pop up yet. Has it not been? Has not many people done it? It's obviously a fucking complicated figure to do, right? So can't imagine there's. Have there been any good versions that have been done that I've missed? Hmm. Is that the chick with all the robes and the flowy robes and the people reaching up to grab her? Top. Hmm. That's an amazing figure. Haha, awesome. I really hope that game eventuates at some point. Sanku Koshin. Really hope it eventuates. C'est for Burgundy. I don't really have an idea either. I just like the figures, so I just want to paint them, and that's generally how I feel about most Spiras. It's never been one where I've been like, yeah, except for Angry Sheep. Angry Sheep was one where I had an idea. Like, yeah, I want to paint an angry version of this. I don't know. Was it called Angry Sheep? I can't remember. I think they're cooked. They came out and said they're cooked. a few years ago for Sankakushan. Paint liquor, you put it on your table, mate, and you get playing. Hey, good work. Yes. It's a wonderful feeling when you have one of your little toy soldier painting heroes give you some feedback and comment on your posts. I remember my brother-in-law was very excited for me when Angel Giraldez, who's one of his heroes, because he's big into Infinity, commented on one of my posts. Okay, I reckon that if I was to do very little else on most of this lower section, it's going to be fine. And that means we can start the upper section. Sure, let's use some airbrushing of some greens. Some Pterodon turquoise and then some purple. That's a good dinner. That's a good plan. I really recommend painting a Kingdom Death model to pretty much anyone, because they're just full of crazy ass shit. Just so much crazy shit all over. Like, what is half of this stuff? exactly. Just totally normal stuff. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Jessica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of Jessica, here I am. A little bit of you makes me your man. Mossy did something very funny the other day. Don't tell her I said this, but it was very funny. She's got long hair. She's got very long hair. And so the other day I was looking in my cabinet of Kingdom Death models, and she's taken off chunks of her hair off her brush, and she's attached them to the top of some models in my cabinet, so it looks like they've got hair. Fuck me. It was very funny. It doesn't sound funny, but I'll show you. I'll go grab one and you can have a look and you can laugh. She did it weeks ago and then just walked. I'll go grab one. Yeah, so she just did this. And that's just been sitting in my cabinet for a few days, or a few weeks. She's just laughing at herself every time she walks past it. Like a mug. Yeah, I think she's funny, that one. Well, she's not. It's criminal. It's criminal behaviour. I got a cool cabinet. It looks awesome. A few years ago, around just after COVID, actually, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm sick of this IKEA Detolf. I want a really big cabinet where I can display all my models in. Because at the time I was really big into collecting artist models, and it was great. And so I splurged, and it cost me, I think it was like $1,500 for this cabinet. It's like a professional retail shop fitting cabinet that's meant to go in a shop and looks awesome. And so it rocked up, and I set it up and I put all my models in there, and I was like, this is the fucking best. Anyway, like about 2 weeks later, I found out that I was going to be made redundant. And so I had to stop collecting toys from artists and ended up selling them, which was a really depressing experience. But because I just was very, very worried about my job and my financial security, so they all went to a good home. They went to Verco's Vault, so that was nice. But yeah, I sold all of my toys that I'd been collecting for the last 5 years, and I was staring at this cabinet thinking, well, I've got it now. I'm pot committed. So I set up all my Kingdom Death models, and it looks awesome. All my Kingdom Death models are sitting there on the shelf, I walk past them every day, and it's the best. That's nice. I appreciate that. That was the little druid dude. I crushed the skin on that guy. Saturation. Absolutely crushed it. And I'm pretty sure I did it all on stream too, or most of it on stream. Actually, maybe I didn't do the skin. Maybe I did other stuff. I always feel good when people buy my stuff, obviously, but when they're people who've been on the stream, I always feel really positive about that, because it's like you can watch how I did this, mate, and you can see what I did, and I feel like that's such a cool thing. To be able to see the process. Alright, let's get a little bit of gap filling done on this champion. There used to be a green tower alone on a sea. You remain the light on the dark side of me. Love became a drop that's high enough to hear. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can be seen? Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on a grave. Ooh, the more I get of you, stranger it feels, yeah. And now that your rose is in bloom, a light hits the gloom on the grave. Da 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 dum, da da dum. There used to be so much a man could tell you, so much he could say. Who tweeted it? Yes, this is the plinth. It's a door. No, it's a furniture stool for a that I got from the local hardware store. Use it for table legs or stuff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh, this thing, the plinth, that's a cool idea. I was gonna stain it. But yeah, maybe the one ring could be good. Yeah, it's perfectly sized. I feel like this sitting on the table just looks like it's designed perfectly for it. So 10 out of 10 would recommend this particular plinth. I think we're going to put her aside for now. She is mostly done. Mostly, sort of. Yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, hey, brah. Yeah, here it is. Almost getting pretty close to finishing, I think. Well, it doesn't look finished yet, but when I do various highlights and pick out eyes and stuff, it'll all pop together. So that's the plan. That could be a cool concept, hey? Everyone should go follow Bra on YouTube. Bra Mithra. He's one of the best Kingdom Death YouTubers out there, if not the best. The other two wings are pretty big. Pretty big. Very big. It's a big girl. Yep. I have a little girl model that you can compare to. It's big. Some crazy big shit. Hey, Lexi. Did everyone remember that movie Return to Oz? Very few people watched it. I'm sure there was a period in my life where I thought I'd actually dreamed it, but there was a scene that really scared me when I was a kid. With this, there was a witch in it, and she used to collect faces, and she used to be able to change faces. That's the vibe I get of this. I'm getting everything, brah. So yeah, the next stuff to come out, I signed up for everything. Yeah, that freaked me the shit out. Absolutely scared me. And there was that release that was done by Carl Rudick a few years ago, which was the chick holding the face quite similar to this one, with the rotten zombie face underneath, and now this chick. And that's all I think about when I see these is that moment from Return to Oz. So there you go, fun little fact. What wonder am I going to use? I think I'll probably use the one that arrives in terms of lantern years, arrives the earliest, so I can play with it more. That was my biggest issue with Luck. He arrives at a time when he's just irrelevant. So if there's one, I think there's one that arrives in Lantern Year 3, Aeneas or Candy and Cola or something. One of those ones, I'll drop those in. Because I really like the concept of Wanderers, but Luck was just an execution that didn't quite work. When I read the update the other day, and it basically said nothing's coming out, no information's coming out, so I sort of moved on. Has there been anything else come out? Have we got a time frame on anything yet, or do we think it's all being produced now and going to come out in the next few months? Yeah, that's exactly right. Luck was great in the Seven Swordsman settlement, but I don't think he's got much play in many other things. Okay, that's cool. That's actually not too far away. And what are we getting? We're getting Nightmare Ram. We're getting Red Witches, Pariah. Anything else? Red Witches, Screaming God, and the Wanderers. Yeah. Oh, and Gatherism. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, Gatherism. That's nice. Shame Starbound and Heliocentrism aren't good to go as well because I've played a People of the Stars one recently with a friend of mine, and I was lamenting not being able to use philosophies. So it'll be really cool when because those two are my two favourite campaigns, People of the Stars and People of the Sun, and you can't use them, you can't do them with Ark Survivors. But we actually ended up playing, we played normal Survivors, and that was really fun. I think I'll probably try to play Ark Survivors and normal Survivors in a evenish spread. That's going to push into 2026 now, isn't it? COD. Ah well. It'll get here when it gets here. I'll have plenty of games and things to do whilst I wait. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So I'll get painting first because I only ever play with the painted toys on my channel, and then yeah, I'll do a full campaign with Frog Dog, basically an inverted mountain campaign. Pariah, Red Witches, Black Knight. I think the only thing missing from that is the Griffin, isn't it? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I really enjoy the exploration and discovery of Kingdom Death, and so it's possible that I might not throw them all in one. That I might play two campaigns and just do a little bit in each one, so that I get that sensation of discovery and exploration for a little bit longer. But I'm not sure. Not sure right now. It'll just depend when it comes, and what's what's happening in my life at the time. I'm enjoying painting these, or this, and I enjoyed painting the Sparrow Goblin, but there was also no time pressure, and so I don't feel any need to get it done quickly or anything like that. But when I've got the game waiting to be played, I find it so motivating to just I can't wait to, like Black Knight when it arrived. So I put it together and I started painting. I was like, Black Knight's gonna be so sick. But one thing I've been trying to do a lot recently, over the last 12 months or so, is paint a lot of my survivor models. I've got so many survivor models. I think I've got about 200 assembled, and they're all just sitting there. So I've just been trying to chip away at my survivor models. So I've got Ledler, and the only Echoes of Death collection that I haven't painted is this one, which I don't know which one it is. I think it was number 2, Archer, Gladiator, and then the Bard. So I want to paint these. So then all 4 of my Echoes of Death are painted. I've done all 4 of the 15th anniversary survivors and the 10th anniversary survivors. I've done all the Indomitable survivors except for the Ledler, and just little ones. And then I've done maybe 5 of the people from the Gambler's Chest. I haven't done all of them, but so I'm trying to chip away at survivor models so that my collection continues to be more and more complete. But it is a lot of survivor models. I haven't grabbed Kale. It's still available, so I may still grab Kale in Australia anyway. I like the fact that it's a White Lion resource. I think anything that adds value to the White Lion is a good thing. Because the White Lion's great. We need more White Lion stuff. The actual item, the harmonica, How cool would that be to rock up with that, my entire King of Death collection? It's not possible, really. I should go and take a photo of it and show you all. Because I don't think I've shown it very frequently on here. And it looks sick with the Sparrow Goblin now. This is not stock base, no. That's a layer of cork, and that's a couple of little extra bits that I added to it. So I do that with all my bases. All my bases have. Here's an example of it. Cork, and then just a little bit of stuff from faces I've got. Yes, the Verco's collection is wild. You will definitely see a number of my pieces in that video if you know what to look for. But when you actually get to the vault, if you ever get to the vault at some point in the future in your life, there is going to be a Deno wing. There's going to be a section that's got dioramas and fucking busts and 75s and all sorts of stuff. I should do a display video actually. I was thinking the other day, I really got to update my video for Kingdom Death, because it's such a cool fucking collection. It's so cool, and yet I haven't really updated the video. I should do a proper video where I put all the figures in on a black background and zoom in on them, because I've done a pretty good job on most of them. Hey Plank. I have them sitting there, yeah. So I really love how much shit comes out with Kingdom Death. But there is a point where I just have to go, fuck me. How many survivor models am I going to need in this campaign ever? In this game? And so I really struggle with armor sets in general. I have not made any armor sets. I only tend to make the other ones. But the armor sets that came out in Gambler's Chest are really good. I think you even told me that. So I really probably should start getting more serious about the armor sets and build a couple. I spent a lot of cash on this naked bundle, and it came out with some cool armor sets. But no, the short answer to your question is no. I have not done anything with those yet. But I do intend on doing something with them at some point. You just got to be so considered with your time with these figures. There's just so many. Like, I can't imagine there's many people that have a Kingdom Death collection that has more painted figures than mine. And I've just done fuck all. Like, of those. I've done so few of the narratives, the armor sets and shit, and survivors. I've just got so few survivors painted, but anyway. We crusade on. We do our best. I think I'll add some glossy blood effects to a few areas here. I think that'll help bring everything together. But I'm not sure. there's just so much model. There's just so much model on these big monsters. Like the Sparrow Goblin was even bigger than this, and that took me 3 weeks. It was a fun 3 weeks, but it was a lot of model to paint. But the thing I really like about the naked bundles is it gets you the figures done, so that when the game actually gets around to bringing us those figures, I can just fucking start playing straight away. I don't have to paint them. They're done. Done and done. Alright, well, we're going to be heading off shortly. We have a big day ahead of playing Elder Scrolls, the board game, and whatever else I've got on my plate today. Packing my bags for my trip to Townsville tomorrow. And sounds like rewatching the Wheel of Time. So, I shall depart, and I will catch you all again next Sunday. Next Sunday, Tenchico. Tenchico is a cool place in the books. Everyone wears veils. They cover their masks, their faces. Yeah, it's very good. Oh yeah, I won't be here next Sunday. We've got something else on. So maybe I'll do Saturday instead. But yes, thank you all. Wheel Time is excellent, Alexi. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Mossy's going to come and say hello. Yes, yes, yes. I showed everyone the model with your hair on it. Show them your long hair.
Show him again.
Yeah, show them again. You want to laugh about that? You want to talk about this?
Yeah, look at his hair.
What happened?
It looks great.
Does he?
Morning hair.
Morning hair. What happened? How did this happen, Emma?
Prank.
And how happy were you about that?
So happy.
You were laughing your head off, weren't you? Dork. Alright, thank you all friends. Have a great week. I'm off to Townsville, so Mossy's waving as well. See you later. Big town.